Hey, listeners and hearers, welcome back to Imagination Station. It's your favorite author, Lisa Walker McCrae, with another compelling story time from the pages of my novel, A Peculiar Kind of Love. Remember, you guys, these videos are for entertainment purposes only. First and foremost, big praise to the Most High Yah, and a special shout out to those who are still in this thing with me. Much love and appreciation from this way. Thank you all so much for your support. With that being said, are y'all about ready to tune into those imaginations and turn some pages? I thought so. Clarence, why don't you see if we can set the stage? Okay, my beloveds, quick recap to fuel those imaginations. In our last story time, admitting and accepting, we left Drew and Tevin with some things to think about. Tevin needed to think about the demons he fought and if his and Rain's friendship was worth the humiliation of him admitting his mother was a drunk and he'd been using that misfortune as a crutch. Advice given by Rain. Drew, at the same time, needed to think about her feelings for Marcus. For her, admitting and accepting they could be gone was hard. Drew hated to think Marcus would no longer be in her life. Now, Carl encouraged Drew. Having to sit down with Marcus was much needed, not only to give him closure, but to also release him from the regret which tortured him. Accepting this gave Drew anxiety. Much like the anxiety she was now experiencing as she ran from her office, swiftly grabbing her raincoat and keys from the counter, headed for the door. After a few days of praying, she'd finally made it up in her mind to have a sit down with Marcus. Although Drew was somewhat nervous about the meeting, she knew it had to be done. Rain observed Drew. "Slow down," she encouraged. Drew ran past her on a mission to complete her task, leaving a trail of Periellus aroma lingering behind. "Let me find out you're excited about seeing Marcus," Rain jokingly stated, sniffing the air. "Let me find out my guests were neglected while I was out," Drew returned to comedy, handing Rain a smile. Rain sneered her nose and turned up her lip, rolling her eyes at Drew as she walked out of the door. Rain be on everybody's nerves. Anywho, as Drew opened the door, she ran smack dab into Dean and Jay. Slow down. Where are you going in such a hurry?" Dean inquired, giving Drew a hug. "Ew, you're wet and I'm late for a meeting." With a chuckle, Jay asked Drew would that meeting be with Marcus. "Oh, the gossip in this town has to stop," Drew stated with disgust. Jay told Drew she knew Marcus was his boy and he was gonna tell him. "Yeah, don't I know it?" Drew proceeded to walk out of the door. Dean nudged Jay, asking him was there something he needed to say. Drew paused her steps. "Will you give me time?" Jay was now giving Dean a sideways look. Dean returned the glare. She was bothered Jay hadn't said anything to Drew since their argument about her putting Marcus out. Dean couldn't stand it. Jay humbled himself, taking the raincoat from Drew's arm, draping it over her shoulder. He was also trying to find the right words to say. He knew he'd been an ass to Drew and needed to make it right. "Man, I'm sorry, Drew," he gave her sad eyes. "I know you are, but now you can apologize," Drew sarcastically stated, looking up at Jay, giving him a smile that could brighten the darkest day. Jay returned the smile. "I have to go. Will y'all be here when I get back?" Jay told her yeah, they could be. He'd just tell Lorraine to drop Gabe off there later. "Awesome sauce." Drew looked back at Rain, once again giving her a V-sign gesture, letting her know she was watching her. Dean and Jay found Drew's actions humorous, especially after seeing the look on Rain's face. "Trouble in paradise?" Jay asked, handing Rain a dashing smile. Letting out a sigh, Rain told him trouble was not the word. She went on to tell them Drew had been on edge since Marcus got out, and everyone around the B&B was walking on eggshells except for the guests. And the only reason for that was because Drew was putting up a front for them. Rain smacked her lips. The only thing that seemed to put her in a good mood these days is when she's on the phone with Zay. Dean immediately started to wave her hands, motioning Rain to be quiet when mentioning Zay. But Rain paid her no mind, going on and on about Drew and Zay's courtship. Now by this time, Jay was looking at Rain dumbfounded. He must have felt the wind coming from Dean's hand, turning around only to catch her in the act of trying to get Rain to shut up. "What are you doing?" he asked. Dean presented a blank look. She had to think of something fast. "It was a fly. Dang fly all in my grill," she fanned the air. Jay could tell she was lying through her teeth. "Okay, Pinky in the Brain, what are y'all hiding?" Jay looked back at Rain. "Who is Zay?" he asked. Dean and Rain gave each other knowing glares. Neither wanted to answer. Rain went to speak, but Dean hurried to cut her off, scared she'd out the rest of Drew's business. "That's not our business to tell, Jay." Dean was now eyeing Rain as if to say, "Follow the play and shut up." Jay rubbed his gold teeth. Dean nor Rain were willing to share any more information. "Okay, I respect your little woman's pack, but the cat is out of the bag now." Jay waited for the ladies to speak, but neither one of them spoke. They held their silence. He told them, "Cool, stay quiet," but to know he would get answers. He smiled at the ladies in a way assuring them one or the other would talk. "Come on, woman, introduce me to your brother." Jay put his arms around Dean's shoulder, guiding her to the back door. Dean looked back at Rain with disappointment, shaking her head. "My goodness, Rain. Yeah, you're definitely in the right field of study. Journalism is the perfect fit for our little tell-all. Anywho, let's catch up with Drew. She's still en route on her way to Shiloh City to meet with Marcus. She could barely see the road from all the rain falling. It seemed like the faster the windshield wipers worked, the more rain fell. Oh my, I should have given Marcus a rain check. Like literally, Drew said to self. She then aligned everything she wanted to say to Marcus, from the most important to the least. Drew tried to take 3 years of questions and fit them into the hour she'd given for the sit-down. At the same time, Marcus sat in a booth at Brooklyn's waiting for Drew to arrive. He was more than excited she wanted to meet with him. It had been almost 2 months since he talked to her, but Marcus didn't mind. The intermission gave him time to get his business together and back under his control. Marcus looked up at the mounted TV on the wall. He could see the storm was getting worse, VIA, the weather report being broadcast. He thought about calling Drew for a rain check. As much as he wanted to see her, he didn't believe the risk of her being out in this storm was worth it. In the meantime, Drew was still pushing her way through, although the storm was getting worse. She wiped the windshield, trying to clear the frost. The defrost was on full blast, but it was useless. The glass had fallen victim to the storm. "This is senseless," Drew said to self, listening to the weather report on the radio. The storm was getting worse and headed her way, so Drew felt it was time to call Marcus for a rain check. At the same time, Marcus was looking down at his phone, puzzled as to why Drew wasn't answering hers. He'd attempted to call her several times to cancel, but got no response. "Man, what's going on here?" he said to self. Marcus looked back at the entrance, hoping to see her walk in, but there was no Drew. He started to get a little worried, but stayed calm. Marcus didn't want to jump to any conclusions. He would give a few more minutes for Drew to show up or call back. Minutes passed. While in his wait, Marcus started to get a little nervous, especially when overhearing a couple inform the waitress an accident had traffic at a standstill due to the Care Flight helicopter landing. Marcus focused his ears so he could hear the rest of the details, but the yelling from the crowd over the football game made it difficult. Now, he tried to stay positive and block out any thoughts of it being Drew, but he couldn't, not until he was sure. Pulling out a $50 bill, Marcus dropped it on the table and left. He would only have peace if he knew Drew was back at the B&B safe. Meanwhile, back at Serenity Meadows, Jay and Tevin were getting acquainted. Dean was thrilled they were hitting it off so well, and Tevin was welcoming. Her heart always desired for him to have someone he could look up to, someone with morals and a good head on their shoulders, and Jay fit the image. He was a landowner, a business owner, and a great dad. He was also a music lover, and Tevin was doing his thing on the keys. Jay wanted more. Dean chuckled watching Jay request song after song. He wouldn't let Tevin finish one song before calling out another. Tevin honored each request, quenching Jay's thirst for the old school sound. Encore, encore, Dean applauded as if she was at Carnegie Hall as Tevin finished up his last request. Jay was still in shock. Tevin could master the piano so well. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That right there, that's real talent. The fellas dabbed it up. Tevin thanked Jay, modestly informing the piano was just something he played around with. Dean rolled her eyes at Tevin, voicing his music was something he needed to be taken more serious rather than putting all his time into those useless sculptures. Tevin let out a sigh, eyeing Dean. Bro, you sculpt too? I sculpt as well, Jay informed. He was impressed. So was Tevin to find out they both had an eye for that form of art in common. Yeah, bro, I got a few pieces in the shed. You want to check them out? Tevin welcomed. Jay was for it and excited. Dean was over it. She rolled her eyes again. It's raining. We can do that some other time, she suggested, eyeing the two men. Jay responded with, a little rain ain't never hurt nobody, but Dean insisted they wait. Tevin can show you some other time. Both Tevin and Jay could feel Dina's negative vibes toward the useless art, and neither one liked it. But this was something Tevin was used to, so it didn't come as no surprise that Dean turned her nose up at his craft. On the other hand, Jay didn't understand and needed an explanation for her non-support. Just when he went to address Dean, Gabe ran into the room out of breath, wet and excited. He announced that him and Grandma Lorraine saw a wreck and a helicopter fly away. It was bad too, Daddy, he stated with excitement. Jay told him that was nothing to be excited about, that someone could be hurt. Gabe looked at his father with sad and remorseful eyes. He asked if they could say a prayer for them so Yah could make them okay. Jay was all for it. He embraced Gabe. Whispering in his ear, he asked Yah to be with whomever it was in the wreck that needed care flighted. Toda Yah, Gabe uttered. Looking back at the door, Jay asked, where's your grandmother? Gabe informed she was talking to Rain about the accident. Becoming curious about the accident himself, Jay and Dean left Tevin and Gabe in the sunroom to go hear Lorraine's details. Tevin made it his business to teach Gabe a few keys on the piano in hopes to occupy his thoughts in the meantime. Anywho, Jay and Dean walked over to the check-in counter where Lorraine was still giving Rain details about the wreck. Jay could tell the accident was bad by the look of disbelief on Rain's face. Hey Lorraine, you just fine, Jay greeted. She assured all was well, giving him and Dean a hug. I was just telling Rain about the accident on 97, she enlightened. Jay told her that's what they were coming to ask her about. Lorraine caught them up on all the details, informing the accident was about 45 minutes away from Serenity Meadows and had traffic at a standstill so the care flight could land. Jay's face was now holding the same look of disbelief as Rain's when hearing someone had to be airlifted. He rubbed his face. True, he whispered. Jay then asked Lorraine did he see what kind of car it was. She informed she didn't get a chance because the car was flipped and surrounded by first responders. True, Jay whispered once more, hoping she was sitting in front of Marcus dry and warm. He tried to be optimistic, but Jay's soul wouldn't settle until he knew she was sitting in front of Marcus, safe. Jay took his phone from his back pocket. Just as he went to call Drew, a call from Marcus was coming in. Jay's heart dropped into the pit of his stomach. Y'all bless this reading and yourselves. Smooches.